Episode 7 of Twinkling Watermelon starts with Jae being taken to the same hospital as Chunghae. At the same time, Sae-kyung hears the phone ringing at the booth and answers the call. She speaks to Master and is familiar with him. Master mocks her for living someone else's life. Just then, Sae-kyung comes clean to reveal that she is An Eun-yu. She is also Sae-kyung's daughter who has come back to the past. A flashback shows Eun-yu's childhood. In the States, Sae-kyung had turned into her mother. Eun-yu was forced to learn how to play the cello just like Sae-kyung did when she was little. Eun-yu's father, Ji-hwan, is the only person who helped escape her mother. However, after Sae-kyung starts drinking, Eun-yu's father files for divorce, leaving Sae-kyung to grow up with her mother. After Mr. Viva's death, Sae-kyung comes back to Korea with Eun-yu for her biological father's funeral. During that time, Sae-kyung asked Eun-yu to stay with her forever. Years go by and Sae-kyung raises Eun-yu to be a replica of herself, forcing her to study music just like she did. One day, Sae-kyung runs into her friend, Yoon Sang-ae, from school. Sang-ae brings back memories of Sae-kyung's teen years and she is taken back to the good old days. Sae-kyung starts drinking and tells Eun-yu all about her first love from high school. Sae-kyung tells her daughter, and Eun-yu wishes Sae-kyung had married her first love instead of Ji-hwan. She is tired of Sae-kyung's stories and tells her mother that she wishes she was never born. Eun-yu leaves Sae-kyung's house and goes to live with her father. The two fight and Sae-kyung slaps Eun-yu for talking back to her. Eun-yu visits her father's house and sees that he has a new girlfriend. She leaves and spends the night alone for fear of being attacked by strange men on the street. Just then, she sees two moons in the sky just like Jae and enters the Viva La Vida music shop. She meets Master and sells her cello to him for some cash. Eun-yu tells Master that she wants to spend the money to the fullest before ending her life. Eun-yu leaves the store and suddenly finds herself in the year 1995. There, Sae-kyung's friends recognize Eun-yu as Sae-kyung. Eun-yu decides to live as Sae-kyung as she looks just like her mother anyway. The episode moves back to Eun-yu's call with Master. She tells him that she is going to find Sae-kyung's first love, who she thinks is Lee-chan, and wants to make sure they end up together to change Sae-kyung's fate. Master hints that Lee-chan might not be Sae-kyung's first love, which gets Eun-yu worried. Meanwhile, the doctors use shock treatment to try and wake Jae up. In his unconscious state, Jae asks to see his father and go back home before he blacks out. Lee-chan tries to talk to Chunghae by writing on a notepad. Chunghae tells herself that Lee-chan was only being kind to her because he pitied her. Lee-chan is called up by the nurse, but in the meantime, Chunghae writes a note to Lee-chan explaining herself. In the note, Chunghae writes how she sent the invitation to him with good intentions and promises to never see him again. Lee-chan follows after Chunghae and asks for a chance to apologize. Chunghae, who has her wall up, tries to avoid Lee-chan, but he forces her to join him for a meal. Lee-chan asks Chunghae to fax him in case of emergencies, which makes her heart flutter for him. Lee-chan drops Chunghae at home and makes her laugh with his antics. Before leaving, he asks Chunghae if he knew who Jae is, but she denies having any knowledge of him. That night, Chunghae thinks about her day with Lee-chan. Lee-chan goes back to the boarding house and is dejected that Jae is not back yet. At the hospital, the nurse alerts the doctors that Jae's bed is empty, with his guitar pick left behind. In the meantime, Eun-yu decides to find her mother's real first love. She recalls Sae-kyung saying her first love was someone who loved extremely spicy food. She decides to test the theory out and invites all the band members on a date individually. All other band members fail Eun-yu's spicy eating challenge, but Lee-chan comes out with flying colors. Lee-chan tells Eun-yu, whom he thinks is Sae-kyung, how he's worried that Jae is AWOL. Eun-yu tries to cheer him up and their date ends quite well. Eun-yu is certain that Lee-chan is her mother's first love. However, she is still perplexed about not testing Jae out. She is hesitant to confirm Lee-chan as her mother's first love because she hasn't tested to see if Jae also enjoyed eating spicy food. She recalls sharing a moment with Eun-jail the day she asked him if he had feelings for her. That night, Lee-chan goes back home and thinks that Eun-jail is back. He gets disappointed when he sees Bal-san in his room instead. Bal-san tells Lee-chan that Eun-jail often helped the other boarding house residents by doing their assignments in exchange for money. Lee-chan is also shocked to learn that Eun-jail made money by charging a fee from the residents, including Bal-san. Bal-san also tells Lee-chan that he was saving up to make sure he could get Lee-chan a new guitar because he wanted his father to shine. Lee-chan gets emotional and hopes for Eun-jail to return. The next day, Lee-chan tells the bandmate that he would rather not perform on stage than do it without Eun-jail. The bandmates try to find a replacement for Eun-jail, but Lee-chan is persistent that they go looking for Eun-jail instead. The day goes by with Lee-chan going around town, looking for Eun-jail. Chung-ae tries to contact Lee-chan again, but notices how fax machines are very expensive for her. Coincidentally, she spots Lee-chan on the street at the same time and runs after him. However, Chung-ae gets stopped by a car and Lee-chan runs away in the meantime. Lee-chan gets a call from an unknown number who tells him that they know where Eun-jail is. They offer him Eun-jail's location in exchange for a reward. However, the goons call Lee-chan to a shady location and thrash him up. Chung-ae runs into Eun-yu/Se-kyung, who is still chasing after Lee-chan. Chung-ae is not able to recognize Se-kyung and runs after Lee-chan. Lee-chan is lifeless in the alleyway and recalls all the fun times he spent with Eun-jail. He remembers how Eun-jail had asked him to be careful for a year. On the contrary, the episode ends with Eun-jail returning back to 2023. The episode review. This plot twist was something I did not expect from the show. The way my jaw dropped when it was revealed that Se-kyung was actually the real Se-kyung's daughter. I did not make much of the fact that Eun-yu could hear the telephone ring. From what we see in this episode, there is a possibility of Eun-jail and Eun-yu developing a romantic relationship in the future. The way things ended here, I am worried that it will be too late before Eun-jail can save his father from losing his hearing. Eun-jail now seems happy to be back in the past, but it is possible that he will regret it when she finally meets his parents and sees the consequences of his actions.